2. You didn't stay there long enough. Good morning, Magic Players and card collectors of all kinds. You see the box, you saw the introduction song, you know what we're here for. It's time for 1, 2, 100! Still need a way to put up like 100 fingers. I haven't figured that out yet, but I'll eventually get there. I'm trying to lighten myself up in terms of my mood because today was kind of a disappointing day. To be honest, work has been pretty bad for the last week and a bit or so. I had a really, really nice week a couple weeks ago there, and then my boss came back from her vacation and it's kind of just gone completely downhill from there to the point where I am just utterly miserable and could not be more excited to get out of that place anymore, to be honest, but I haven't been able to find a new job, so stuck where I am for now. Anywho, I want to try and keep this one short because this is not going to be a super long first episode, largely because of 2 reasons. One, we're not going to actually do the lands today. We normally do the lands and the commander for our first episode, but today I am putting off the lands because I wanted to actually cover the basis of the deck. As you know, we are starting our, I forget what her name is, Vendrell or something like that? You'll notice a pack sitting there. We are going to crack a pack to try and cheer me up to. Vendrell. Marina Vendrell. I was combining her first and last name into one. Marina's deck is, I'm calling this Marina and the House of 1,000 Rooms. Kind of like the House of 1,000 Corpses. The downside is there are not actually 1,000 rooms. I looked it up online and there are actually only 30 room cards in the entire game right now, per se, because rooms just came out in this set specifically and there hasn't been another set that's done them yet. With that said, I actually only own 15 of the 30. So while each room card has 2 rooms on it, so in reality there are 120 rooms in total. I only own about 60. I own 60 of them. So therefore, although I'm calling it the House of 1,000 Rooms, it's really more the House of 60 Rooms. And so what I thought I'd do is today we're going to go through the commander, we're going to go through the rooms, and then we're going to crack that pack while I wait for the grocery store to open because I just got off work on a Monday. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to put this out today or tomorrow, but I'm going to work on the park trip video later today as well. And so hopefully one of those 2 will come out today and the other one will be out for you guys tomorrow. So let's get started. We got Marina Vendrell. She is Wooburg, so 1 of every mana to get you a 3/5. When she enters, reveal the top 7 cards of your library, put all enchantment cards among them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Then you can tap her to lock or unlock a door of target room you control. You can only do it at sorcery speed, so unfortunately you can't do it on your opponent's turn, which kind of is lame. I'm not gonna lie. But, she's still pretty decent overall, I think, because you're gonna see the rooms are kind of a very entertaining sort of, little mechanic. I'm not expecting this deck to do super well, per se. This is going to be one of those, very memey decks. But it's going to be one of those ones that I have fun playing, kind of like the one we just did with the Gates, where I'm really not expecting to win a lot of games with that one, but I'm just expecting to have some silly fun. So, we start off with the Dazzling Theater and Prop Room. I'm going in order of Wooburg, so I've got my white ones first, then blue, then black, then red, then green. And then finally, I have 2 that are, 2-colored, so those ones are at the end. Dazzling Theater says for 3 and a white, you can give all your creature spells Convoke, which means that you can tap all other creatures to give to reduce the mana cost. And then 2 and a white gets you Prop Room, which gives you the ability to untap each creature you control during each other player's untap step. So what would be nice is if Marina actually worked as an instant speed rather than sorcery speed, because then she would untap every turn, and then I could tap her every turn on each player's turn to lock or unlock one of my doors. But unfortunately, I can't. So the way this works is you cast one of the two sides when this comes into play, and then the other one remains locked until you pay the other cost to unlock it. Once the rooms are unlocked, then you have those abilities permanently as long as the card stays on the field, essentially. Some of these rooms you'll notice you want to actually be able to lock and unlock, which is why Marina makes for an interesting commander. Next up we have Grand Entryway and Elegant Rotunda. So the Grand Entryway for 1 and a white, when you unlock this door, you create a 1/1 white Glimmer enchantment creature token. So this one, for example, every time you lock and unlock this one, you're going to get a token. So you don't have to flash it off of the field. You can just use Marina's ability to, it'll take you 2 turns probably, unless you have a way to unlock her, or untap her and tap her again in the same turn, but you can get a token on a decently regular basis. And then the other side, whenever you unlock this one, you put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. So again, this is one of those ones that it's going to be better to be able to lock and unlock it, as opposed to this one. Once it's unlocked, we're probably going to want to leave that one unlocked. Next up, Bottomless Pool and Locker Room. When you unlock this door, return up to 1 target creature to its owner's hand. So again, that's a good one to lock and unlock for 1 blue. That's not bad. And whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Now, technically, you can actually lock a room with her and then pay the cost to unlock it again as well. So you wouldn't actually have to untap her to tap it. I just realized that. So there is a way that you could possibly play both, the lock and unlock in the same turn. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. That one's pretty decent, and that's probably going to want one you're going to want to leave unlocked permanently. Meat Locker and Drowned Diner. Drowned Diner is a little expensive, but when you unlock this door, you get to draw 3 cards and then discard a card. So that's going to be one of the ones that you definitely want to be able to tap Marina and then tap her again, so you don't have to pay the 5 every time. And this side, whenever you unlock this door, you get to tap 1 target creature and put 2 stun counters on it, which is pretty decent if your opponent's running something that you definitely want to stop them on from using. Next up, we got the Central Elevator and Promising Stairs. Elevator for 3 and a blue. When you unlock the door, search your library for a room card that doesn't have the same name as a room you already control, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle. So that one's going to be fun to unlock and lock and unlock repeatedly, so that I can actually search out for all the other rooms. And then Promising Stairs, 2 and a blue. At the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1. You win the game if there are 8 or more different names among unlocked doors of rooms you control. So this is definitely the one we want to get for sure into our hand early on, because that is the win con of the game, essentially. This deck is definitely not going to win by combat, so we're going to be winning probably through Promising Stairs, mostly. There might be a few other ways we might be able to deal damage or something repeatedly, but that's going to be the main thing here. Underwater Tunnel. When you unlock this door, you surveil 2. Yeah. And Slimy Aquarium. 3 and a blue. When you unlock this door, Manifest Dread, then put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. Manifest Dread is interesting. You basically take the top card of your library, put it face down onto the battlefield, and it becomes a 2/2 creature, if I remember correctly. I don't think you have to do anything else. I could be wrong. You might have to actually do something else with that too. But you can also flip up the creature if it is a creature by paying its mana cost later on. So that's kind of nice. Unholy Annex and Ritual Chamber. Ritual Chamber is a little bit expensive, but I'm sure we'll get something good out of it. For 2 and a black, Unholy Annex says at the beginning of your end step, draw a card. If you control a demon, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life, otherwise you lose 2 life. So this is one we're definitely going to only want to unlock once we have the demon on board. And we get a demon by doing this one. Whenever you unlock this door, you get to create a 6/6 black demon creature token with flying, which is pretty badass. So Marina will unlock this door probably, or we'll pay the cost to unlock this door, one of the two. And then this one will help us to gain some life and lose some life. That's another way that we could possibly drain people out. This one is actually also a special art, because I have a different version of this one, but I like this version of the art better, so yeah. Next up, Derelict Addict. Derelict Addict. Oh my goodness. Okay, one more time. Derelict Attic. There we go. And Widow's Walk. Okay, for 2 and a black, when you unlock this one, you get to draw 2 cards, you lose 2 life. I mean, it's a good way to get to our rooms faster, I suppose. And whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gets +1/+0 and gains Death Touch until end of turn. That one's kind of decent. We probably won't be doing a ton of attacking, so we're probably going to be able to trigger that on a regular basis. You'll notice we only have 2 black ones, just like we only had 2 white ones. We have all 4 blue, or we have 4 blue ones. I think, if memory serves, there are 5 of each color, and then there's 5 dual-colored ones. But I could be wrong. It could be 4 of each color and a set of 10 dual-colored ones. Next up, we got Painter Studio and Deface Gallery. When you unlock this door, exile up to 2 cards from your library. You may play them until the end of your next turn. And whenever you attacking creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. That one we definitely want to keep unlocked. That one I might never unlock, to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of the whole exiling things from the top of my deck. I'm going to build a deck that does that eventually, just for the shits and giggles of it. But it's really not my favorite way to play. Glassworks and Shattered Yard. 2 and a red. When you unlock this door, it deals 4 damage to target creature and opponent controls. That's not bad. And for 4 and a red, at the beginning of your end step, this room deals 1 damage to each opponent. That one's nice. That one's definitely going to be one we want to get going on early. Between that one and the one that pings people for the demon, we can get them to lose 3 life per turn, and I gain 2 life, which isn't bad. Next up, Ticket Booth and Tunnel of Hate. Ticket Booth is 2 and a red. When you unlock it, you get to manifest red. Okay. When you unlock Tunnel of Hate for 4 and 2 red, which is pretty expensive, you can get, whenever you attack, target attacking creature gains double strike until end of turn. That's pretty good. So if you combine that one with the one that gives your creature +1/+0 and Death Touch, you're going to have a creature that has double strike, Death Touch, and +1/+0 in addition to its regular power. That would be pretty good. Pretty good. Yes. Moldering Gym and Weight Room. Weight Room's a little expensive. But again, keeping in mind, Marina can unlock all these more expensive ones once you pay the cheap one and put the card onto the field. So it's not the end of the world. That's kind of the best part about Marina. The only downside, like I say, she's just not instant speed. If there's a way to give her the ability to tap at instant speed, that would be amazing. But I don't think that would have changed her ability because it says activate only at sorcery speed. I think no matter what, she's going to be limited to that. I could be wrong, though. If you know the game better than I do, let me know in the comments. When you unlock this door, search your library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Dece. When you unlock this door, manifest dread, then put 3 +1/+1 counters on that creature. So that's insane. That creature would be +2/+2 first off, and then it becomes a freaking 5/5. That's not bad. Greenhouse and Rickety Gazebo. Greenhouse says, lands you control have tap to add 1 mana of any color, which would be amazing in this deck because we're going to have some struggles with mana, I presume, partway through here, probably. And for 3 and a green, Rickety Gazebo says, whenever you unlock this door, mill 4 cards and return 2 permanent cards from among them to your hand. The only downside to that is it says from among them, which means you can only return out of the ones that you mill, so chances are I'm not going to unlock that door very often, to be honest. And finally, we get into our 2 that are mixed ones. I'm going to start with my personal... Oh, no, this isn't a room. How did I put that into there? Oh, crud, I only have 14 rooms. Well, that's unfortunate. I thought this was a room, but it's just life and death, which is just a dual sorcery speed spell. Somehow that got added into my enchantment box by mistake. Alright, the last room we have then is Smoky Lounge and Misty Salon. So, Smoky Lounge says at the beginning of your first main phase, you get to add 2 red mana, but you can only use it to unlock and cast rooms. And the blue one says, when you unlock this door, you create an XX blue spirit creature token with flying, where X is the number of unlocked doors among rooms you control. So, the more doors you have open, the bigger the spirit. Alright, so pardon me, I currently only have 14 rooms then, which equals actually 28. I would love to be able to get my hands on a few more, so I might actually look into trying to get some trades in or something. But we'll look into that a little bit later on. In the meantime, in between time though, I'm going to crack that pack, and then I'm going to go in and get the couple things of groceries that I need and get home to Kaiba for a walk before it gets too hot. So I have an extra pack of Ninja Turtles that I was gifted. I was asked not to say where I got this from because the person didn't want me to bring it up per se, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to say thank you. You know who you are, and I appreciate you. And so we're going to crack this pack and end this video. So next time, I'm hopefully going to have a couple more rooms for you guys because I'm going to look into actively trading a few cards to see if I can get some. And I'm also going to attempt to get the land base situated so that you guys can see what we got for those as well. All right. Oh, no, okay. It is a common that's at the front. I thought that was actually going to be a rare, but it's not, apparently. So we will bring the token in the land to the front. So the token is a mutagen token and a robot token. Not bad, not bad. Our land is TCRI building, which is cool. I think I might have already had this one. I can't remember for sure. But if not, I love life gain lands, so I'm always for that. And Ninja Turtles is my favorite, one of my favorite IPs, as I've mentioned before. So the light from the translocation matrix could be seen throughout the city. The Utrons knew they only had a brief window to escape after its accidental activation. First up, we've got Bebop, Warthog, Warrior. 4 and a black for Menace. Rhinos you control have Menace. And he's got Swamp Cycling too. He goes really well with the Rocksteady version that's green. But they don't have Partner, so you can't actually use them as a combo in a deck unless you actually pick a black and green commander, which kind of sucks. Stockman, Fly... Oh, no, he didn't have any. Okay. Stockman, Madfly, Flyentist. Okay. 4 and a blue, just like the 4 and a black. So 3/4. This one has Island Cycling, which this one had Swamp Cycling. Flying, and when he enters, you draw a card and discard a card. Okay. Make your move. 2 and a white. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Sorry, artifact, enchantment, or creature with power 4 or greater. Decent. For a moment, there is only relentless snow and frozen breath. Manhole Missile. 1 and a red. Deals 3 damage to target creature. You can put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library if you do get to draw a card. Say your prayers, Toy Doubles! There's the Rocksteady to go with the Bebop. 4 and 2 green. Rocksteady can't be blocked by more than one creature. So then if you give him Menace, he... Wait. Rhinos you control have Menace. Rocksteady can't be blocked by more than one creature. So then he would be unblockable. And Boars you control can't be blocked by more than one creature, and since this is Menace, this one would also be unblockable. And this one has 4 cycling too, and is a 7/7, so badass. I'm glad we pulled both in the same pack, because I wasn't sure if I had one at home already or not. Negate. Nice. Zoo Escapees, sorry. 1 and a green for 2/2. I forgot to read the text on the negate. You guys seriously tried to do this with your jump kicks? They imagine that out beyond the zoo, beyond the pen, there exists another world, and it encroaches with rapid certainty upon their own. When this creature leaves the battlefield, you get to make a mutagen token. It's a boar rhino, so it would technically actually get the benefit from having both of those guys. I really wish these guys had partner. It's disappointing that they don't. Ooh, Karai's Technique in a very cool art form. Nice. 1 white and black. Sneak. White and black. Choose one or both. You can sneak in a sorcery? That's interesting. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. The ninja who loses his temper loses the battle. Karai. So if you, the way sneak works is if you attack and a creature gets through unblocked, you could play this for its sneak cost, I assume at instant speed, and replace that creature with this spell, which then you could trigger the ability for whatever reason on something else. April, Reporter of the Weird. 2 and a blue for 2/2. Whenever she deals combat damage to a player, draw that many cards and discard a card. Nice. If you can buff her up, she could get you a lot of cards. Freelance reporting pays freelance reporting pays even worse than tutoring, but the satisfaction of uncovering the truth makes it all worth it. Also, the free ringside tickets to cover intergalactic wrestling don't suck. Shredder Unrelenting. Nice. 4 and a black. Sneak 3 and a black. 6/4. Death Touch. Whenever he enters or attacks, another target creature you control gains Death Touch until end turn. Cool. You know me, you know I love Death Touch, so that's pretty awesome. Still got some good stuff coming. Jenica Bad Apple Big Sister. That's another cool looking one. Similar art style to that one. 4 and a white, 3/3. When it enters, create a 2/2 red mutant creature token, and it's got plane cycling too. What? I assumed that's her over here, but I'm not sure. Leader's Talent. 1 and a white. Whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. Level 2. It's a class, which is awesome. I love classes. So you'll get to keep this ability, but you'll also get this ability when you level it up. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had a counter on it, you gain 2 life. And then if you level it up to level 3, whenever you cast a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, which is insanely good. This is a phenomenal enchantment. And we got a Frog Butler in Hollow as our last card, which is awesome because he's got Death Touch. He can tap for 1 of a mana color, and you can pay 2 and give him reach until end of turn. So he's basically Poison Dart Frog, but a mutated version of it. Which one was my turtle card for the... You're supposed to be guaranteed 1 Ninja Turtle per pack, and I don't think we got a Ninja Turtle in that one. Although, we got a pretty cool Kurai's technique, so I'm not going to knock that. And the Jenica. So, yeah. You know what? We got a pretty solid pack all around. I'm pretty happy with that. And with that said, I think we shall cut this off. So, much love to you all from Kaiba, who's at home, and myself to you in the car. Thank you for tuning in to this first episode of the next installment in 1 to 100. Have a great day. Love you all. Bye.